Okay, so go ahead and show me how you would normally just sit on the bike if you were like going straight. You can straighten the wheel out too. Now, stay just like this. Don't move your shoulders at all and take your hands off. Okay, that feeling right there, that's how you should kind of always be. Put your hands back on it. That's how you should be right now with your hands, even on it. These should just be super loose, absolutely no weight at all over the handlebars. The only thing you should ever do with your handlebars is use them to turn. They shouldn't be for leaning on, they shouldn't be for holding on when you're accelerating. Your feet are in the right position, the balls of your feet on the pegs like that. Okay, so let's say you're going through a curve. You're leaning left. So you're going to counter steer to the right just a little bit, right? Okay, so just about that much right there is fine. Now show me how you would position yourself going through a turn. All right, so you're starting to move your butt off.
That's how deep the corner is.
It doesn't, and I'll tell you why. If you do the right body position every time and you lean off the bike pretty good, yeah, you might look a little silly. Some people might be like, the fuck, how fast does he think he's going? But the thing is, you get used to doing that, you will be, trust me, you'll be more comfortable. It's good practice. And if you get in a situation where you have to suddenly add a shitload of lean, let's say a car explodes in front of you because he's a Serbian spy and he gets hit by a rocket launcher or something, right? And you're like, oh fuck, and you got to turn as hard as you can. If you don't have the best body position, that's less lean angle, and it's also, you have to now try to move yourself off the bike to make an aggressive move. And if you need to go the other way, same thing. You don't have as much flexibility and all that. Good thing, keep your elbows bent there. Now hook this arm on the tank, hook that leg on the tank as well. This leg and this right here is like 90% of how you're going to be holding on, because again, you want to keep the weight off of these things right here, right? So that means you have this, which is pretty tough, and that leg. There you go, good job. All right, so you already did the one thing, you put your hands on it, or you got in the position, and then you take your hands off. So lean over pretty hard. There you go. Technically, the right thing to do is to keep one cheek on it, and the reason is because the other thing you should be doing is pointing your shoulders and your chest towards the turn. Now, take your whole butt off. See how his shoulders pointed back this way? So that's why a lot of people say just do one cheek, because if you take too much of your ass off, now your shoulders and your chest are going to want to point back towards the opposite direction.
Into my arms too.
Yep, exactly. And you'll have to hold on harder the other way, all that. Do you know why they stick their knee out?
Isn't it just like a feeler?
You got it. The only reason that they're sticking their knee out like that is because that's how they detect. It's like a lean angle measure. That's how they're finding out how far over they are. So it's not like you're putting any weight on that. Okay, so we talked about your feet. Getting it, yeah, it should be on the balls of your feet like that, getting leaned over, hanging on with your knee, pointing your chest out. Now your head, do you know where your head should be?
Down here.
Your head should be like as low as you can get it. They say kiss the mirror, right? You don't have any mirrors, but that's okay. Neither would a track bike. So kiss the mirror. Try and get your head real low and real forward. That will also help keep your shoulders pointed out. Now watch, try and take your hands off. There you go. Now try and keep this, no hands, switch to the other side, but don't fall.
Yeah, can't do
yeah, we can't do it on this bike, but that's what you want to kind of get used to. And if you have like rear stands, you don't have you have spools. So if you have a rear stand at home, put it up on a rear stand where it's a little more stable and straight up and down, and you can practice going back and forth like that without using your hands, keeping the weight off of your hands. And when you go out and you do it and you consciously think about it, it's a really kind of cool but like weird feeling. You'll know you're doing it right. Another great piece of advice I got, and a lot of stuff I'm ripping off from another video, is if it feels like you're exaggerating it, you're probably just now doing it right. When you're coming up to a turn, you want to set your position before you start to turn. Just like with cars and automotive racing, bikes and performance riding is like the same sort of thing. It's all about load balancing and keeping the bike stable. So if you're going into a turn and you're now getting your knee out and hanging off the bike while you're starting to do the turn, you're going to be upsetting the weight of the bike. How much do you weigh? 160. 160. How much does the bike weigh? 400. 400 and some pounds. So you weigh, what's that?
450 or something like that.
Okay, so you weigh like 1/3 of what the bike weighs, right? You are 1/3 of this entire weight. That's a lot to think when you think about it. Imagine if you took this car right here and you put 1/3 of that car's weight on the left side only of the car. That car would handle completely differently, right? So your bike's not any different. So what that means is what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set your whole position before you go into the turn. So you're going to want to do the same thing again, even when we're hitting these roads, even when we're hitting them at like 60-70% and you're just kind of enjoying the view and the countryside. Set up your body position as much as you can before you dive into the turn. The more you get off the bike, the more upright the bike will be at the same turning radius. So if you're on the bike and you're in line with it and straight up and down, and you go into a turn and you have to lean it like 45 degrees and you can go 70 miles per hour, if you go 70 miles per hour and you hang off the bike, it will be straight up, or it'll be a lot more upright, which means you have a lot more room in case you want to do anything.
Dragging my peg lately too.
And that's the thing, if you're dragging your pegs, then it's definitely a bad body position thing. And it's funny because I talked to Ollie about that a while ago too, and I was like, man, I'm scraping my shoes and my boots and it's scaring the shit out of me. And I'm like, I must be getting pretty low. And he's like, bad body position. And I'm like, I know I'm not, doing it 100% right, but then I really started working on body position a whole bunch. And when you get it right, dude, I can rip through one of these corners, just hauling ass and not come anywhere near my boot or my peg. And I will be 10 times faster than when I had bad body position. It will do a lot of legs and core. Yep. If your wrists are ever sore when you're riding, you're doing it wrong. Seriously. You're seriously doing it wrong. Definitely keep all the weight off of that. Start squeezing this with your legs. I hate riding a bike if it doesn't have tank grips. First thing I do whenever I get a bike and it doesn't have tank grips, I immediately order some, or I'll go to Barney's and pick some up, or wherever. And if you look at my R6 right now, it's got no tank grips on it because I'm selling it.
But I didn't want to ruin the video.
No, I'm selling it, so I didn't want to put tank grips on there and then have someone hate them or whatever. I don't know. It had tank grips on it before I painted it. Hooking the leg right here, and you're going to want to, I don't want to fall over, of course, so we got plenty of room. So you're counter steering a little bit. You want to keep the weight off of this right here, just on your knees. Get your leg out, get half your butt off, point your shoulders out, head down, and look through it. And this right here is a blast on this bike. If you hit a turn like this, even lean over like a little bit like that, you'll feel it, where the bike is more upright and you feel like you have so much more control. You're getting closer to the ground, which is more fun. Yep. Okay, so where should your feet be? There you go. More on the balls of your feet, just like that. Same on this side right here. Yep, you're pretty good there. Okay. Now hook with your right leg. There you go. And now, there you go. Point your chest out, shoulders out, just like that. Now flap your arms like a chicken. Anytime that you guys are in a turn at all, or even when you're riding, flap your arms like a chicken. If it's hard to do, you're too stiff. If you can do it, no problem, cool, you're loose. All right, I think I covered everything. I don't think there's much else. I hope I didn't miss anything.